We're all deeply affected by the continuing pandemic and the rising number of citizens who have contracted the virus, including HCCC community members, their families, and loved ones. Please join me in a moment of silence for all the victims of the pandemic and those close to them. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving, although likely a quiet one. It's becoming a distant memory as we're now marching toward the holidays. First, we have an action-packed agenda today. I'll try to just keep it moving, but want to make sure I share a number of things with you, and then we have plenty of time for discussion. First, as you're all aware, Bergen Community College has chosen Dr. Eric Friedman to be their next president effective January 1st, 2021. I know I speak for everyone when I say that Bergen's gain is truly our loss, but we are also very happy for Eric. We all celebrate and thank Eric for his exceptional service and leadership at Hudson County Community College over the past nearly 14 years. And during that time, Eric has served as a Dean of Community Education, then Vice President for Academic Affairs, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, followed by Executive Vice President and Provost, and Chief Operating Officer for the college during the past nearly 3 years. Eric, you're more than ready to take this exciting next step in your career. We're very, very happy for you, and we will all miss you greatly. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure, Chris. Thank you so much. I want to thank each and every one of you that are on this call and the others that couldn't be here. My time at Hudson has brought me into the orbit of an incredibly talented, dedicated, and engaged community of students, faculty, and staff members. And it's not just the college community that's incredible. It's the communities we serve. They are so appreciative for the opportunities that we provide for them. It has really made my work so rewarding, so meaningful. You know, we believe in our community and our community members when they oftentimes don't believe in themselves. And you do that, and I'm inspired by that. I can't name names because there's so many, but please know you have made a lasting impact on me, and I am profoundly grateful for my time serving others in Hudson County and for knowing all of you and working with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric. Today, I'd like to focus on several things, and then we'll open the meeting for questions, comments, celebrations, and any other topics that you would like to discuss. First, I want to discuss our planning for Eric's departure and how we will address his many areas of responsibility. Then I'd like to ask several colleagues to provide updates on our continuing important work in the areas of student success and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Then I'd like to discuss our planning for the spring semester and beyond. And finally, and most importantly, we will then open the meeting to questions, comments, celebration, and discussion. As Eric prepares to move on to the next exciting step in his career as the new president of Bergen Community College, I've been working closely with Eric, the cabinet, the board executive committee, and all of the college's constituencies to consider how best to manage and lead in the many areas of Eric's responsibility. In consultation with our board of trustees and our college community, I'm developing a plan that's still very much at risk. I want to emphasize that I'm continuing to collaborate and invite input from the college community, and it's likely that what I discussed today will continue to be refined before I submit a final proposal to the board, finance, and personnel committees in January, and to the full board for their consideration and hopefully their approval at the January 19th Board of Trustees meeting. But I want to share our current thinking, and I welcome and encourage your input into the approach that's unfolding. We are considering a framework that focuses on not filling Eric's position, but instead redistributing his responsibilities to current staff. That position fit Eric exceedingly well, complementing his long period of service and his expertise and insight Moving forward, it appears not to be fitting us as we consider moving forward. And so one of the considerations in making that decision is that we have a strong staff, and therefore we have the enviable opportunity to assign additional leadership responsibilities and expanded administrative roles to several staff members through a redistribution of the executive vice president and provost responsibilities. This will in turn provide several team members with growth and development opportunities. As you know, we took this approach when we encountered previous executive level vacancies under my watch. And together, so far, we've achieved successful outcomes. These included a response to former Senior Vice President Paula Pando's resignation, the late Dean of Student Services Michael Reimer's untimely passing, and former Assistant Vice President Chris Wall's resignation. I've been working closely with Eric, the cabinet, and faculty and staff across the college, including officers of our collective bargaining units, to consider options and seek consensus on a restructuring plan. In all conversations, I've asked that our overarching priorities of student success and diversity, equity, and inclusion guide our thinking. Again, this is a work in progress and subject to change as a result of your and others' continuing input. First, we're considering the promotion of Dr. Darrell Jones to Vice President for Academic Affairs with responsibility for the core credit academic enterprise. Darrell's new position would be that of a more traditional Chief Academic Affairs Officer, commensurate with his experience overall and at Hudson. Darrell would report directly to the President as a senior member of the Cabinet. In addition to his continued leadership for all of the academic divisions, Darrell would also be responsible for supervisory oversight and support of the college libraries and the Center for Online Learning. Eric's additional and broader responsibilities would be assigned to a number of other staff. For example, Heather DeVries would assume responsibility as the college's accreditation liaison officer, leadership for the continued planning and college-wide completion and implementation of the new strategic plan, responsibility for leadership and support of academic and college-wide assessment, and others. We're considering inviting Juris Pujols to report directly to me. I don't know, it's inviting him to report to me. We're considering having him report directly to me as Executive Director of the North Hudson campus, and also inviting Juris to join the Cabinet. We're also considering having Executive Director of Institutional Research, John Scanlon, report directly to me. Our current thinking is that Executive Director of the Secaucus Center and Early College Programs, Dr. Chris Konzen, would report to Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment, Lisa Doherty, while continuing to work closely with academic affairs, faculty, and other colleagues across the college. We're further considering having Lalisa Williams report to Vice President for Human Resources, Anna Krupitsky, with all of Lalisa's current responsibilities as Director of Faculty and Staff Development, and possibly broader human resources activities and services over time. And we are discussing having Dean of Continuing Education and Workforce Development, Lori Margolin, report to Vice President for External Affairs and Senior Counsel to the President, Nicholas Chevrolati. Lori would continue to oversee the expansion of workforce development as a primary leader for building and growing external partnerships, collaborations, and grant-funded initiatives. And very importantly, we are considering the creation of a new position, that of Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, through this restructuring. The President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is recommending the development of a Chief DEI Officer to advance, support, and now sustain the college's goals and initiatives related to DEI. The new Vice President would report directly to me, would be a member of the Cabinet, would lead and support our DEI strategic plan and annual action plans, and would oversee and support Jackie Safant and the Office of Accessibility Services, and Michelle Vitale and the Department of Cultural Affairs. This officer would also serve as the college-wide Title IX coordinator and support the activities of PAC Day. Very importantly, and I want to emphasize this, our plan would be to fill this new position internally through a college-wide search. The HCC community is truly engaged college-wide in DEI work and principles, and there are clearly several individuals who would be qualified and likely interested in this growth opportunity. This approach is also fiscally sound at a time of financial challenges related to the pandemic. So that there would be a college-wide search open to anyone interested, and then ultimately out of that search process, using our search criteria that we've developed together, we would appoint a new vice president, which would be a growth opportunity for someone. Also, very importantly, the plan that I just outlined supports our goals of diversifying the cabinet, providing senior leadership opportunities, certainly for Darrell in the way of a promotion, for Uris as a new member of the cabinet, and through the addition of a chief DEI officer on the cabinet. These changes would provide some salary enhancements funded through the savings and the elimination of the executive vice president and provost position, while achieving a significant net in-base savings for the college. So we would both provide opportunities for these expanded responsibilities and save the college annual in-base funding. And I want to emphasize again that recommended salary increases will be determined with a focused view to internal equity and financial viability. And let me at this point, this is so important. I want to underscore this next point. Let me emphasize that these changes are all focused on the need to reassign Eric's responsibilities in a way that best supports the needs and priorities of the college. Very, very importantly, this process should not be confused with our larger commitment to reviewing position descriptions throughout the college, establishing an employee classification system benchmarked with other similar institutions and market conditions, and developing a plan for addressing college-wide equity and compensation over time. That important work will commence in January, that's next month, when our HR consultant, Evergreen, begins to work with us over likely the next 6 months or so on those college-wide planning processes and improvements and the updating of position descriptions and recommendations that will guide our planning college-wide in the future. Now, that's a lot of information, but the timing of Eric's departure requires a comprehensive plan without delay. And so, again, I welcome your questions, comments, and suggestions today and over the next several weeks. So I'm going to now move on to several other topics, and then we'll open the meeting to questions, comments, and suggestions. On Thursday, the HCCC Foundation held the college's annual gala. That is our largest annual fundraising event to support student scholarships. In spite of the formidable challenges of the pandemic and the need to offer this event virtually, which in and of itself almost seems impossible, in spite of that challenge, it was a huge success. This year's Gala at Home honored our gifted and valued colleague, Paul Dillon. It was creative, moving. The food that was prepared by our chefs and students and distributed in baskets for home consumption and celebration was exquisite and sumptuous. In spite of this year's pandemic challenges, this event was a financial success, raising an estimated $140,000, perhaps more, for scholarships. We thank Nicholas Chevroletti, Murta Sanchez, Eric Karakashian, Marissa Lontok, and all the faculty and students in our Culinary Arts Institute, the Foundation Board of Directors, and so many others for their outstanding and tireless contributions to the success of this year's gala. And I've said to Nicholas, I really think this is a sort of a national example for how to do a very important annual event tied to fundraising virtually. I've never seen anything quite like it. It was just phenomenal. Also although we were unable to hold an in-person commencement last May or this December, as we had decided as a fallback, our Office of Student Life and Leadership has planned a virtual celebration of our 2019-20 and December 2020 graduates. The celebration was recorded and will be presented on Thursday, December 10th. That's this Thursday at noon. You may view it then or any time later. And in addition, a live toast to the graduates. This will be live. Will be offered on Wednesday at 5 p.m. And the link and the flyer about that, I think, just went out shortly ago. I want to thank Veronica and her team of truly inspirational staff and students for organizing this great virtual event. Next, I'd like to invite our esteemed colleagues, our HCCC Dream Team co-chairs, Heather DeVries and Dr. Sheila Dinan, to offer an update on the Dream Team's outstanding student success work. Sheila and Heather, I turn it over to you. And remember to unmute.
Thank you, Dr. Reber. I believe Sheila, if she's on the call, is going to start us off.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. And I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
And the two areas that I am reporting on are the Dream Scholars program. Heather and I went through the applications that we received, and based on our criteria, we sent a group to both Chris and Eric to make final decisions on the choice, and we have submitted 2 students for the Dream Team committee to evaluate. Remember that this is a national position, and there are only 8 slots for the students across the country. So we're hoping and praying that one of them will be acceptable, and that would be a coup for us. But we learn every year more and more about how we need to tailor these things, and we're hoping that we got it right this time, but we will always try and perfect it from the years going on. The other piece is there were 4 applications for proposals that were sent in. They have been received, but we have no response yet from the committee as to whom was accepted. We're hoping before, the 15th of December, somewhere in there, that we would get an answer. And I will follow up with the national ATD people to see when we'll get a definitive answer on that. Heather?
Thank you, Sheila. Yes, we're keeping our fingers crossed for a successful Dream Scholar application and for, hopefully all of the presentation proposals are accepted, but we will be hearing about that soon, and we'll report out when we do hear. Otherwise, I'm just going to provide a very brief overview of what each of our HOW teams, our working groups that are really working to implement the Student Success Action Plan through their own kind of structures, what they're each working on, as next week marks our last full Dream Team meeting of 2020, which is hard to believe the year has gone so quickly. Otherwise, I will start off with our student leader group, who are really looking at how to build a culture of Hudson is home on HCCC's campus. They're looking at kind of a marketing angle and really doing some qualitative research, almost like an interview protocol, where they are interviewing peers and some faculty and staff, and really kind of tapping into the idea, how is Hudson home for you? Why is Hudson home for you? If it isn't, why isn't it? Really taking a deep dive into those responses and assembling the responses in kind of an infographic or a poster that we will find an appropriate medium and venue through which to distribute. But they've been doing really amazing work through Sheila's leadership in particular. So I'd like to thank Sheila for working so closely with them on getting that project up and running. From there, HOW Team 2.4, that is Priority 2 Strategy 4, which is led by Joe Caniglia and Jackie Safont, they and their HOW team are looking into retention alerts and really getting the word out about why retention alerts and similar kind of alert messaging matters. I believe they are developing a presentation or a workshop for College Service Day in January, so we have that to look forward to. We also received notice from Joe Caniglia today that he and Dr. Paula Roberson had a really productive conversation with Lorraine Community College about some of the initiatives underway at that institution, and we look forward to hearing hearing from them at a future Dream Team meeting. Our Hudson Health Team 2.3, led by Ara Karakashi and David Clark, are continuing to think through how to expand the resources we offer students. There is a forthcoming walkthrough of the new resource center, and they are also looking to develop an intake form for students to be able to identify services they would be interested in as early as possible in their Hudson career. HOW Team 2.2, led by Dr. Pamela Bandupetier and Jason Figueroa, are continuing to receive regular report outs from Dee Franco as the chair of the Multiple Measures Task Force. And they are looking also at kind of equitable scheduling, as well as the curriculum for CSS in close partnership with David Clark, and that work will continue into spring. Switching over to Priority 1, our ESL HOW team had recently invited a representative from Passaic County Community College to present on their ESL program and redesigns. So we are looking forward to hearing a debrief on that presentation at a future Dream Team meeting. And then finally, our Academic Foundations Math and English HOW team is looking at standardization of grading, looking at kind of departmental exams, looking at the breakdown of grades, and also looking at how students' learning is assessed. One more update that Sheila and I met with Lisa and Uris late last week to talk about how we can further align the work of PAC Day and Achieving the Dream. That is all I have. I will turn it back over to Dr. Reber. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather and Sheila. This is just so gratifying to see this exceedingly important work unfolding across the college through the leadership and support of so many members of our community. I thank you so much, everyone who's involved. And next, I'm delighted to call on Uris Pujols and Lalisa Williams to offer an update on the outstanding continuing work of our President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Lalisa and Uris.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just want to double check. So thank you so much, Dr. Reber, for this opportunity to provide this update, and thank you to everyone for joining in. I will be providing the first part of this update, and then I will turn it over to PAC Day's other co-chair, Uris Pujols, who will close with additional updates. For those of you who have been around, you have seen how the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion has been very busy, and we thank everybody for all of your efforts. And we are currently finalizing the draft of our multi-year action plan. Once that draft is more developed, it will be shared with the entire college community for your input and engagement. We will make sure that the final product will reflect everyone's input. Our next action planning meeting is scheduled for next week. We now have, as was just mentioned by Heather DeVries, we have a regular standing meeting with that Dream Team, Dr. Sheila Dinan and Heather DeVries. We did have a meeting last week, and it really solidified how all of the collaborations should be going forward and should be strengthened through all of the efforts of everyone. So we appreciate that. As this year comes to an end, we also want to highlight some of our big wins for the year. We want to thank Jeff Roberson, who led an effort that includes a signing with the National Minority Supply Diversity Council. We want to thank Dr. Peter Cronrath and the Academic Affairs Subcommittee of the All-College Council for their leadership and collaboration in getting a diversity statement passed to be an optional inclusion on course syllabi. We thank Professor Michael Furlise and the Professional Association for bringing Dr. Richard Rothstein to speak about his book titled The Color of Law. It was a wonderful engagement, and it was very well attended. We also want to thank Dr. Angela Pack for her leadership in creating our first adjunct faculty mentoring program, bringing continued support to this important group of employees. We further want to thank Amala Ogborn, Natalie Vasquez-Bodkin, and Kyle Woolley for providing their support and scaffolding, as they call it, for so many of the programs that many of you have been able to attend. We also want to highlight the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion work at our institution. First, it has been and continues to be a primary area of focus for our president, Dr. Reber. As you recollect, Doug Melville, a diversity and inclusion expert, was the keynote speaker during the Fall 2020 Convocation event in September. Now going forward, we have Dr. Darrell Jones and Dr. Paula Roberson, who are leading an effort to bring Dr. Valerie Dudley from Temple University, a multicultural education and diversity and inclusion training expert, to be our featured workshop presenter on College Service Day, Spring 2021. That workshop is scheduled to take place directly following lunch. You'll hear more about that as the days and weeks go on. The title of her presentation is How to Make Teaching More Inclusive. We spoke with her last week, and the presentation will be incredible, I am sure. I am grateful for all the work that everyone is doing and has done so far, and I am excited for what still lies ahead. I now turn it over to our PAC Day co-chair, Urs Pujol, to continue with our brief update. Urs, take it away.
Thank you so much, Lilisa. Thank you, Dr. Reber, and good afternoon, everyone. As Lilisa mentioned, our action plan, based on our overarching goals, continue to take shape. The plan will provide alignment and focus to guide our work for the next 3 years. However, I also wanted to take this last town hall of the year to focus on how our goals and aspirations are turning into action. Lilisa mentioned how we joined the National Minority Supply Diversity Council, and we approved an optional diversity statement for the core syllabi. Goal 1, this is one of the goals based on the breakdown after the survey and the structure of our action plan. Goal 1 deals with infrastructure, programs, and training. One of their efforts, noted by Michelle Vitale and Angela Pack, who lead this group, is to focus on legacy programs, meaning programs that are reoccurring and they're more like series of events rather than standalone programs. So they would complement everything else that we do. And to that end, we wanted to recognize and thank Dr. David Clark, Sharon Daughtry, Veronica Gerosimo, Natalia Vasquez, Kyle Willey, Michelle Vitale, Katie Smith-Winning, Sirham Abdullah, and so many others from the college community for organizing and creating an incredible program that they titled Disparities in Healthcare. Tell me your zip code and I'll tell you how long you live. More than 60 members of the college community attended. I was not able to attend. I had another meeting going on at the same time, but even after that, people just kept on talking about how wonderful it was and how powerful and how important the information was. Of course, this is not a standalone program, but a series, the first of many. As you all might be familiar with our Stories Untold series, which is part of our partnership with Human Resources, Nikia Santos was our most recent feature speaker. Her story was nothing short of inspirational, and this program is an ongoing series as well. So we had a very strong showing this semester. We expect to have the same next semester. We created a barbershop, an open discussion forum for male-identifying members of HCCC. Dr. Christopher Conson will be leading our next session scheduled for Monday, December 21st. Toxic masculinity is the topic. This is also a series, and we expect to encourage our colleagues for others to take the lead in other topics that they might want to lead. Goal 2 deals with human resources processes of recruiting, hiring, and developing a workforce with a DEI focus. VP Koprinski from HR is involved in the process, and we're optimistic that we're coming along very nicely. Goal 3 deals with safety, security, and incident reporting. The leadership of this group, they had meetings with Dr. Clark, who leads the CARE team, and other stakeholders to make sure that we put everything together and also that our recommendations are consistent with what we have and what we need to do. So we will continue to update you as we take action on current and new initiatives. And just in closing, this year we've created a community network that supports our DEI initiatives. Please note that every time we say the word we, we're not talking about Elisa and I. We're not even talking about the membership of PAC Day. We're talking about all of you. All of you who work who are making all these things happen all around the college and throughout the community. Also wanted to point out that if you miss any of our events, please double check. Some of them are actually recorded, so they might be available for you to view. And we also wanted to take this opportunity, Lilisa and I, to recognize Dr. Eric Friedman. I know that Dr. River mentioned him already, but keeping in mind his work in DEI and the engagement that he had with us in PAC Day, we want to make sure that we set our piece. Dr. Friedman, we thank you for your support and engagement in this work. You've always been in the trenches with us. We will miss you and wish you well. And finally, for everybody else, if you have any DEI-related ideas, suggestions for collaborations, please let us know. Again, thank you for everything. Stay safe and healthy, and looking forward to 2021. Dr. River, back to you.
Thanks so much, Eurus and Lilisa. Wow, what an impact you and PAC Day and our whole college community is having in this area that represents our shared and collective values and vision. I salute everyone. Next, our college community continues planning, of course, for the spring semester. I again thank our faculty, coordinators, deans, members of the RTC task force, the All-College Council, our collective bargaining units, our student leaders, and so many others in our college community for their collaborative work to prepare for the spring semester. And I've asked Return to Campus Task Force co-chairs Lisa Doherty and Heather DeVries to provide an update of our spring planning and related issues. Lisa and Heather.
Thank you, Dr. Reber. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all safe and well. On behalf of Heather and the Return to Campus Task Force, we are going to give you an update. We've divided it into from today until the end of the year, and then Heather will pick up with an update of what's going to happen January 1st through the start of the spring semester. So far for the fall semester, we really thank and appreciate every single person in our college community for doing their part to abide by the protocols, the mask wearing, the social distancing, the screening, staying home if you don't feel well, reporting according to our protocols if you're exposed or test positive. And we continue to be optimistic that we are going to make it through the end of this semester without any major disruptions in terms of outbreaks and such. So far our protocols are working. When someone does report an exposure or a positive case, whether an employee, faculty, or staff member, they are responded to by Anna and or Heather, and students typically by Dr. David Clark, with me as his backup, which he does not need. So we're happy to say that has been working. We've been able to get in touch with everyone and make sure that the correct protocols are taken if we need to quarantine a class or close a department temporarily or do extra cleaning. So thank you. We really do appreciate everyone. We do want to request that you continue to report cases and exposures even after the semester ends. It's important for us to really make sure that we're giving care and concern to all of our community members even when the college is technically closed for the winter break. So we do ask that you continue to use the form and report those cases so that we can check in on you and make sure you are okay, and then be prepared for any protocols that we need to follow when we reopen in January. We're also extremely aware of the increased cases of mental health concerns and what we call the winter blues. You got a flyer today, and different just concerns brought on by the holiday season in general, not to mention the pressures of COVID. So as a reminder, we have the EAP for faculty and staff members, and we have Talk Campus, which is a 24/7 app that students can use for peer mentoring, and they can refer students back to Doreen or other resources for mental health concerns. So please do continue to utilize those. In terms of an update on the air purification system from ILIA, as of now, all Journal Square campus buildings have had the M11 HVAC filters approved by the CDC installed, and North Hudson should be installed by the end of the week. The dust air purification equipment has been installed at 119 in Journal Square and is getting installed in STEM, probably is complete by now. And then we continue to receive the shipments of the other parts and will install as they arrive. The thermal mirrors have been upgraded, and we are very shortly going to be sending out instructions for how to get access to the QA, which is not really an app as much as it is a web-based questionnaire where it integrates with Thermal Mirror and will recognize your face and identity when you are screened at the campus, so that the questionnaire links to your ID, and then we know who's on campus and who's been cleared. So look for instructions from IT on that in the next, I would say in the next week or so. I'm sure some have seen that the CDC did revise its guidance on quarantining and the number of days. They actually shortened the number of days. At this point, we will continue to err on the side of caution and follow the New Jersey Department of Health guidelines, which has not updated the protocols. They continue to go by the 14 days, and we are going to continue to do that as well. We are almost at the end of the semester, so we really don't want to be cutting corners at this point in terms of our protocols. So if you've seen that and you've sent it to us as an FYI, we appreciate it. We do certainly want to err on the side of caution, and our health and safety group looked at that right away and got back to us and said we should really stick with the New Jersey Department of Health. So that is our update for the fall. Again, thank you, everyone. We have just a couple of weeks left, and we wish all of our students the best of luck on their finals, and all of our students and faculty and staff a very restful and relaxing and safe holiday season. And I'll turn it over to Heather to give you an update on 2021.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, on behalf of Lisa and the RTC, I echo that we hope everyone has a restful, enjoyable, and safe and healthy break. But when we return in January, the RTC will be back to work. We will continue to meet on Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. When we return from break, and continuing on as needed regularly through spring semester. Our winter session classes, we do offer a handful of courses in that 2.5-week winter intersession, and those courses will be delivered in 100% remote modality, but libraries and computer labs will be open during that time. An update, or just a reminder really, about registration schedules and processes, that all registration activities reopen on January 4th, both remote and in person. And just a heads up that registration will be remote only on Monday, December 21st and Tuesday, December 22nd. Looking forward to the spring term and spring calendar. So our spring semester is scheduled to begin on Monday, January 25th, and we are not making any changes. Some institutions have modified their spring calendar in some way in response to perceived conditions, but we are sticking with a start date of Monday, January 25th. Dr. Jones has been working closely with the associate deans, who have been working closely with their faculty and their coordinators to prepare to pivot if necessary, again, if conditions permit. And there will be ample, if a pivot is required in any capacity, and that will be communicated with ample notice before January 25th. Finally, laptops and hotspots are still available for student use, and we don't anticipate any inventory issues. Students who are not registered for a future term will be contacted to return their devices if they have them out on loan. And again, we don't anticipate any inventory issues. Big kudos to David Clark and his Hudson Health team, as well as Tricia Clay, for procuring all those laptops and hotspots and meeting our students' technology needs. That is all I have. I will turn it back over to Dr. Reber.
Thanks so much, Heather and Lisa. We thank you. We thank all members of the RTC task force and all members of the HCCC family. And I also want to take this opportunity to emphasize that if circumstances require, when the spring semester begins in late January, we will make adjustments as necessary and appropriate, including a potential pivot, as Heather noted, from planned on-ground instruction to virtual instruction if conditions require that. Of course, we hope this won't be necessary, but safety and the success of our students are and will always remain our top priorities. As you're all aware, we're continuing to invite college-wide participation in our review of HCCC's mission, vision, and values as a component of our strategic planning. I thank Executive Director of Institutional Research, John Scanlon, and others involved in leading this work, and I'd like to invite John to offer brief remarks about upcoming focus sessions. John.
Thank you,
Dr. Reber, and good afternoon, everyone. As Dr. Reber mentioned, we're engaged in an ongoing effort to review and refresh the college's mission, vision, and value statements. Many of you have participated in a round of what we called strategy sessions in October, and also submitted your thoughts about the current mission, vision, and value statements in a survey. And Dr. Rick Voorhees, who is our external consultant, and I have been reviewing and analyzing the results of all that feedback, and have now drafted potential revisions to these statements. The next phase will be, we've had discussions of those revised statements with the cabinet, with the Board of Trustees, and with the foundation directors, and they've all been interesting and productive discussions with a lot of great responses and new ideas floating around. And for the college community as a whole, there are 2 open sessions this week to further discuss the revisions to these statements and get your ongoing feedback to them. One is this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and one is Friday morning at 10 a.m. The links for those sessions should be in your inbox in emails that I sent last week and an update this morning. If you are unable to attend either of those sessions but do want to provide feedback, please drop me a line and we can collect your information over email, or we can set up another time to talk. But we really would like to get responses and hear the voices of everyone who wants to contribute to the crafting of these new mission, vision, and value statements. So again, I invite you to follow up with me if you have any questions or comments, and I look forward to seeing many of you either this afternoon or Friday morning at an open session. Thanks, Dr. Reber.
Thank you so much, John. Thanks so much for your leadership. And now we open the meeting to your comments, questions, and perspectives, and for our collective discussion. Lalisa, Uris, Heather, Sheila, John, and members of our cabinet join me as facilitators for the conversation. As always, please press 10 if you'd like to speak. And once again, Hardik is here to facilitate. Thanks so much, Hardik. Can you tell me how many people are on the phone?
156.
Okay, excellent. So we now open it to discussion.
This conference is now in question and answer mode. To alert the speaker that you have a question, press 1, then 0.
Questions, comments, suggestions, celebrations, concerns? How are we looking? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Roy Humane. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Reber. Good afternoon, those that are on the line. Currently, I just want to make a comment more so and highlight a few celebratory celebrates that we have been doing thus far. During these uncertain times and yet exciting times we are in as it relates to Hudson County Community College as a community moving forward, and as you had made mention in gratifying leadership, so I do want to echo that as it relates to sharing and collective value and vision that we are doing collectively as a community. I just want to make mention and highlight as it relates to Dr. Freeman. I'm so sad to see him go, but at the same time, I'm happy and excited for him because he is the man for the job, and he has been doing wonderful work as it relates to his expertise and insight here thus far, even as it relates to me being a alum or a student at one point in time, and now being able to see him grow and move forward in his efforts as it relates to presidency at Berger Community College. So I just wanted to just give him a shout out. Dr. Freeman, I am so excited for you and glad for you. Also, as it relates to celebratory toast, the BCH department actually highlighted and recognized Dean Chef Dillon. And so that was a great, phenomenal move that the BCH department have done with the chefs and also the students themselves that prepared some of that food, delicious baskets and things of that nature. So I want to highlight them. And even as it relates to the community as the college, I'm excited. I'm just so excited. As it relates to the program that was solidified and streamed via live Facebook on our social platform that we do have at the college. So I thought that was great and excited to see that happen for Dean Dillon, Chef Dean Dillon, that is. And also just so much that is happening, even as it relates to the untold stories. With PAC Day and inviting one of our own here and the admissions enrollment service related to Lakia Santos' story, which I think was impeccable and inspirational. So I just want to highlight that. And moving forward, as we are here in enrollment services, making these phone calls and calling up these students, returning students, and new prospect students. So we're doing what we have to do here. And thank you, Lisa and Matt, for your great leadership as well. And just so much is happening at Hudson County Community College. And I'm just excited to be a part of what's happening and the moves and the efforts that everyone is doing here. I don't want to miss anyone named Dr. Jones as it relates. I believe this is going to be your, second year with us now? And even as it relates to our holiday mixer, the pictures going out, and, we're just moving forward. So, and this is what we want to do for our students because that's who we are serving. We are serving our students here, and so I'm just proud to be a part of that as it relates to what we're doing in all our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful and uplifting.
Thank you, Royal.
You're welcome.
Others.
Hi, Dr. Reber. It's Veronica Gerasimo.
Hi, Veronica.
Hello. So echoing some of the announcements you made earlier in your remarks about our virtual commencement ceremony, I just want to make sure to invite everybody on Thursday at noon. Hopefully it's on your calendar. I know communication sent it out, but we will be having our virtual commencement ceremony premiering live on the college's YouTube channel. So just so you know what to expect, we do encourage our graduates to be robed up and at home and with loved ones as best as they can to celebrate the moment. Any of our staff and faculty and other people who want to attend, if you want to robe up as well, great. If you want to be in your slippers, that's good too. So we'll be able to participate in a live chat while watching the video, so pre-recorded speeches followed by slides for all of our graduates. It's going to be great, and of course, it's not the in-person celebration that we all hope we can have, but it's celebratory and exciting nonetheless. So looking forward to chatting with everybody live on Thursday, and then the toast for our grads tomorrow evening. The link did go out. Join us as well, 5 to 5:30. We have toast from you, Dr. Reber, of course, as well as our valedictorian, some faculty, and our final toast delivered by Dr. Friedman, which will be celebratory in many ways. I also want to give a shout out to the Student Life and Leadership team, our student leaders, our Honor Society advisors. We've had a lot of great ceremonies celebrating our graduates this semester, including our second annual Lavender graduation for our LGBTQIA+ and ally graduates. And also last night we had our inaugural Kente graduation for our students of Black and African descent, which was phenomenal, and really looking forward to continuing those two events as new traditions as we celebrate our graduating students. So shout out to everybody who's putting in a lot of work, our communications team, to make this happen. And it's a team effort for sure. But we really are excited to celebrate our graduates virtually, but nonetheless, excitingly.
Thank you so much, Veronica, and thank you for your leadership for these extremely well-presented programs. I have enjoyed each one of them, and more to come. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Others?
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Reber. This is Teja Parek, EOF
Hi, how are you? Yeah.
I'm blessed. How are you?
Good.
That's great to hear. Once again, we just want to just announce to Dr. Friedman on his EOF Champion Award. We recently just awarded him for the amazing work that he has done for our EOF program, the Educational Opportunity Fund program, and we just wish him well and his future endeavors and where he's going next. I just wanted to also give a big shout out to Mental Health and Counseling Center as well as Student Life for a recent collaboration with the Breaking the Silence Domestic Violence event that occurred on November 20th. And we brought in Women Rising. Thanks again to Angela Tuzo for collaborating and connecting us with her, with Margaret Abrams. This is a series that we're looking to have continuously. This is a part 1 series, and we just wanted to give a shout-out for that. And I also wanted to just shout out one of our scholars, EOS scholars, Hector Roman, who just won one of the recipients of the STEM scholarships that was for fall 2020. So, and a big thank you to our EOF staff. You know, we've been here on campus, and to everyone else. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tejal. That's all great. And thank you, Jose, and everyone in the EOF team. It's a really stellar program.
Thank you, Dr. Reber, and thank you once again to Yuris and Melissa and my co-chair, Warren. Super grateful for you all. Have a blessed and happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Other comments, questions, remarks?
Hi, Dr. Reber. It's Joe Caniglia. How are you?
Hey, fine. How are you, Joe?
Great. I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Friedman. Good luck to you. We'll miss you at the college, but this is a great opportunity for you. And I also want to thank the professors and students who participated in Learning Community Day last week. Professor Susanna Wexler, Professor Sal Queller, Professor Joe Cummins, Professor Abdallah Amadou, Professor Saida Jasmine, Professor Arminita Palez, and Professor Fatima Cora. They did an outstanding job, as well as the students, and I want to express my gratitude to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joe. The Learning Community Day was fantastic. Thanks for leading it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman.
Other questions or comments?
Hey, this is Professor Gallo. I wanted to send a direct shout-out to my man, Dr. Friedman. I wanted to thank you very much for all of your support. We were hired, I believe, in the same year. You stood behind the creation of the theater program. You stood even longer behind the building of the studio theater classroom. It could not have been done without you. Talked about a dream, try to make it real, and we did, and it was due in large part to your support and your belief in me and my program, and couldn't thank you more. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you.
Thanks,
Hi,
Joseph.
this is Lisa again. Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody else trying to speak?
Nope, go right ahead.
I just want to, a shout out to, first of all, Dr. Reber, thank you so much for having this opportunity, this monthly town hall, and the opportunity for us to be able to just speak openly and frankly and freely. I really appreciate that. So I want to take this opportunity just to give an open thank you to the person who brought me to the family of Hudson County Community College, Dr. Eric Friedman. It was about this time 7 years ago that I met him via a resume that I sent into a platform, and therefore it led to me working here and having all these wonderful, wonderful experiences. And I just want to say that another dream that came true, and I just wanted to highlight it here. Dr. Friedman for some time has been speaking about having this pool of talented, qualified candidates of adjunct faculty, and therefore we've pushed to get this event done. And we always got sidetracked maybe with other things, but I'm just so honored that it actually came together right before he left I probably would have felt worse had it happened like after he was gone, since he was such a leader and so instrumental in constantly reminding me, like, what about that pool? What about that pool? So we had the virtual job fair last evening from 4 to 7. I just want to give shout-outs to Dr. Darrell Jones for how he really stepped up and stepped in and was, a big, very engaged in that. And all of the associate deans and all of them, everyone, so not one was left out. They were all involved and participated, all of their staff, their team members, the entire ITS department and team, amazing efforts. I don't believe we dropped any major balls, and there was a lot of balls to kind of keep in the air. So, again, Dr. Freeman, thank you. With you taking this type of leadership to that college, they are going to be amazed with you. So thank you again, Dr. Reber, for allowing me to say all that. And good luck, Eric. We're going to miss you.
Thanks, Louisa.
Thank you so much, Louisa. Others.
Hi, this is Linda Guastini.
Hey, Linda.
Can you hear me? Oh, great. Hi,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say hello to everyone, and I want to wish Dr. Friedman the best at Bergen. I am thrilled for him, and he is very deserving of that position. He will be very missed at Hudson. I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Jones. I look forward to working with him. I think the changes that are suggested are smart and well thought out. And I also want to take an opportunity to thank all of Hudson County, because I think we are providing students with top-tier service that a lot of colleges are not during this pandemic. And I know that's Lisa Doherty and her team, and Archina and her team, and the executive cabinet. And I want to congratulate you all. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Others.
This is Eric. I just want to shout back out at Linda for her support over the last several years. It would have been impossible without her deep knowledge of the college. She is a real trooper behind the scenes. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you, Eric. So, Eric, two things. One, it's not too late to change your mind. And two, if you don't change your mind, you can't steal any of our great people here.
No.
These are wonderful tributes. I also just want to take this opportunity to remind everyone we are planning a sort of a virtual toast to Eric. Can someone remind me of the date and time?
December 17th at 10 a.m.
That's Thursday, right?
Correct. Thursday, December 17th at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Please join us, and feel free to come with an Eric story. I think there's someone else that's on the line.
Hi, this is Professor Imam. Actually, this is a very big shout-out to Dr. Eric Friedman. Well deserving. We will miss you really a lot, particularly the old guards. So accept the congratulations. And, of course, probably this is also the time that secretaries, particularly to the president secretaries and the secretaries, Linda Guastini, they have been real asset to the college. Don't steal Linda. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for your service and all the good luck. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor Imam.
Thank you very much. Others. I know there's likely to be one or two more. Any questions or comments?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have one more quick comment. Congratulations, Dr. Jones, and others, that are.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vice President. Yay! All right. Bye.
Thank you. Any others? Well, thank you all so very much, and appreciate everyone's contributions, everyone's ideas and dedication to our students in our college. And we're going to be together for a couple more weeks, but I genuinely hope everyone has a really wonderful, restful holiday in spite of all the challenges around us. And thank you for all you do. And please, if you have comments as you think about what we talked about today, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me or anyone else, because we really want your ideas and your comments. Thank you all so much. Have a great afternoon.